Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I have a very exciting announcement for a read-along I'm going to be doing in 2024. So, by the title of this video, you guys don't know what we're going to be doing, but for those of you that have been a part of my live shows, you will know what I am talking about. So, in the year 2023, we did a read-along with N.K. Jemisin's entire work, except for a few short stories that they've come out with over the years. But that series went so well for me. I was so happy with the result of the read-along from the beginning to the end, with all the live shows, the discussions that we had over the various work, things like that. So I decided, why not do another one for 2024? Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, this read-along is not going to span the entirety of 2024 because there are not enough books in the series for me to do the entire year. It's going to go only up until basically August, and the final live show being in September of 2024. So, without further ado, let's get into what we're going to be reading over the course of 2024. So the series that we are going to be reading, for those of you that were not a part of the live shows at all, is going to be The Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is a series I've started already, but I would love to go back and reread from the first short story and do some annotating with the books. This is a high fantasy series. Hello, Douglas. Douglas apparently wants to be involved in The Witcher. This is a high fantasy series that is definitely one of the most popular in terms of the TV show and the video game that had come out alongside this. It's a very interesting story because we are following a really gruff, rough and tumble kind of guy named Geralt, and he is basically what's called a witcher, and he is able to track down and kill basically different kinds of magical creatures that start running amok in the continent. And so the first book that we're going to be reading in the month of January is the short story collection of The Last Wish, considered one of the two prequels that you will need to read to understand about Geralt and the continent itself and what goes on there. So this is a compilation of short stories that don't really have much of a through plot, but you can kind of see where they could line up together if you chose to, but it gives you just a lot of information about Geralt himself. Then after that, in February, we're going to be reading the second prequel, which is going to be Sword of Destiny. Now, this is, again, another kind of like short story compilation. I do believe these ones, though, have a little bit more of a through line than The Last Wish does. So there's a little bit more of like actual story going on here, like a plot of sorts. If I remember correctly. It's been a minute since I've read this one, so I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that this one has more of that through line that we're looking for. Then in March, we're going to actually start the series of The Witcher by getting into Blood of Elves, the very first book in the Witcher series. This one, according to the back, says that for over a century, humans, dwarves, gnomes, and elves have lived together in relative peace, but times have changed. The uneasy peace is over, and now the races are fighting once again. The only good elf, it seems, is a dead elf. Geralt of Rivia, the cunning assassin known as the Witcher, has been waiting for the birth of a prophesized child. This child has the power to change the world for good or for evil. As the threat of war hangs over the land and the child is hunted for her extraordinary powers, it will become Geralt's responsibility to protect them all. And the Witcher never accepts defeat. It's going to be interesting starting off this series by having read the prequel stories to this and then getting into the main story and seeing how the prequel stories help us to understand who Geralt is and really kind of like then dive deep into the first book and see more of what's really going on. Then in April, we're going to be reading book 2, which is The Time of Contempt. In May, we'll be reading book 3, which is Baptism of Fire. In June, we'll be reading book 4, which is The Tower of Swallows. 5 will be read in July, which is called The Lady of the Lake. Finally, in August, we will be reading what is, I think, considered the 6th book, but it's not necessarily like an established 6th novel. It's kind of, I think, more of a, I don't know, like after story. It's in the world and it deals with Geralt, but it's not like a set 6th book in the main series, but that is Season of Storms. It is considered an optional read for those of you that are going to be reading with us, but I will be reading it, so I will be doing a live show for Season of Storms in September, as this will be our August read. Schedule will also be listed in the description if you guys would like to be able to copy it for yourself and write it down in like a bullet journal, or copy it and print it off or anything like that. I will make sure to leave it down there so that you guys can kind of see in a written format how the schedule is going to be for the year of 2024. Without further ado, that is it. That is my 2024 read-along announcement. We are going to be reading the entirety of the Witcher series, which I'm very excited for. This is a series I've been wanting to finish for a while because I read both of the prequel stories and really liked them, and I've been just meaning to try to finish series for a long time, and so I figured this was a really good one to start with, because initially when I was deciding on whether to do N.K. Jemisin or not, it was actually between The Witcher and N.K. Jemisin for 2023. So I figured, you know what, I did N.K. Jemisin in 2023, let's do The Witcher in 2024, and then at the end of the year we'll have a bit of a break where the rest of the year will be more kind of just open-ended for a lot of people, and then 2025 we'll see what kind of catches my fancy and do another read-along then. But thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!